Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Taylor Swift is a link builder. There were rumors that she would get engaged. Our client said, let's give them a free wedding venue. And then we got them 50 links. That's digital PR.
Managing multiple clients or large websites? Automate your SEO with Ali AI. Start your free trial now.
Hello, good afternoon. I've made it up on the stage. That's a good start. I haven't fallen on the way. So my name's Kane. I work at Holland Extras and here to talk about the journey we've been on over the last couple of years, essentially since ChatGPT sort of became mainstream and the process we've gone through there. So as mentioned, I work in the growth team at a company called Holland Extras. This is us. There's about 900 across UK and Europe, based in the southeast of Kent. And for those that don't know, we do everything for your holiday except the holiday itself. So airport parking, airport hotels, travel insurance, anything except a flight and a hotel, essentially. So on our sort of journey over the past couple of years within AI, we've one of the reasons sort of here is actually that we've looked at the amount of time that AI has helped save us as a business, and it averages about a nice round number, about 500 hours a week. It's probably a little outdated now, it's probably a little bit more than that. And across a year, about £500,000 cost saving. We haven't actually saved that because we still have the same number of people. They just get to spend their time doing better, more interesting, exciting things. And then also as part of the work we've been doing from an AI perspective, from a customer-facing point of view, people that interact and use our AI elements on our site, they actually see a 70% uplift in conversion rate. Very small numbers, so it is not like for like, but it looked like a good number to put on a deck. So we're seeing that actually it's really impacting our customers in a favourable way. Two caveats that I wanted to mention. First is I'm not an AI expert. I'm a marketer. I'm not technical. My background is in marketing, particularly paid marketing. And the second caveat is that this is our CEO, Matthew. He immediately wanted us to invest in AI. We didn't have to bring him on board, which is often the biggest journey that people go on, is actually trying to get leadership support when they want to invest it. So we didn't have to go through that. So I skipped that step on our journey, thankfully. But actually, when we were going through and over the last couple of years, there were essentially 5 buckets of problems that we came across, which all largely around people, getting people on board, because they're the people are going to be the ones that are using AI, using it in your businesses. And so a lot of it's around the people rather than some of the tools. We'll come into that a bit later. So we're going to go through those 5 problems, how we've solved them at Holland Extras, and hopefully it'll give you some insights as to how you may be able to do that as well. So the first one we've called the dinosaur problem. Is essentially we've been going for 41 years. There's obviously quite a lot of businesses that have been well established, they're big. But actually, if you don't start to adapt and evolve, you will become extinct, much like the dinosaurs. So again, I go back to our CEO. If you can get buy-in from the leadership team from the top, it's so much easier if you can just get one person that can start to have these conversations and it trickles down through the business. That was one of the biggest things that we had, is actually having that support from the top and the leadership team made it so much easier when we wanted to actually develop and push AI through the business. The next one is actually just talking about AI. So we have a weekly leadership meeting. There's a section within there where we talk about AI news. It could be about our own internal news. It could be about what tech companies are doing, what travel companies are doing, what anyone else is doing that's cool in AI. So just talking about it. And then the other one is actually, this isn't a Google Ads rep slide, which is normally where you'd see something like this, is actually try not to, certainly at the beginning, think about trying to get an immediate ROI on any of the AI work you're doing, because you probably won't. You'll build that over time, but actually if you don't start to do the research, the testing and learning at the start, then you'll never get there. So we were quite lucky. We actually have KPIs around wanting to use more API calls, wanting to use more people logging in, having more people use AI as our metrics rather than actually an immediate ROI. The next one, which we call the Skynet problem, which is essentially, it can be really scary. Obviously AI has big moral, world sort of problems and solutions, but also problems and risks, and that can be a bit scary for people that aren't as well up to date on it. So actually one of the things we try to do is make it as fun as possible. This is actually on the roof of our CEO's office. It's about 7 foot. You can't have it on because it is blinding if you're in there and it's on. But essentially is we try to make it as fun as possible when we're talking about it, to remove that sort of risk and sort of the scary factor. So we'll have stupid things like, this was probably 18 months ago, using elements of AI to, when we were talking, we'd have internal videos, we'd use AI to make them slightly more fun. Very simple, pretty poor execution now because it's a bit old, but you started to just show what you could use AI for. In the first few months, this has probably been early 23, you've obviously got in your business, you'll have people that are much more interested in AI and other people that aren't. We've got those people, there's about 20 that were really interested. And we set up a 2-day workshop where we essentially made everyone, across the course of 2 days, they could come in, visit part of our office. We'd set up 3 rooms. One was about chat, one was about chat with ChatGPT, one had Mid-Journey images, and the other had a video and audio room. And essentially, we just got people that didn't know anything about AI to come and write a poem or a song or a cat video or a cat photo. So it was literally just to demystify it and show actually this is what it can do, this is the fun you can have with it. The next one we came about is what we call the play safe. So you all have your business data, you all have data that you don't want to be learnt from to go into the models. So how do you protect that? So we looked at actually creating a safe playground. Now, there's 2 ways we looked at this. You could either buy it or you could build one yourself. So we partnered with OpenAI about just over a year ago, and I think we were one of their first UK enterprise clients. And we've been using them. We've got about 300 of our people in our business that have enterprise access to ChatGPT, and that means that there's none of the data we put in there can be learnt from. We also did have on their on the website, on their blog, they've got an article about us, which does have a backlink, which is quite nice. Probably the most expensive backlink you could get, but it's a good domain. And then we also, using the OpenAI API, we built an internal one. So essentially we didn't want to do a sort of full 900 people because that would have been incredibly expensive. So we did the people that we know are going to use it most, and then we used the API, which again you can't learn from, and is a much lower cost because you're only doing the cost of an API crawl. We built essentially a list of almost a GPTs, loads of different GPTs. So one could just be about having a conversation. We loaded our loads of our website articles and how we speak. We load that, so if someone wants to write content, they can write it in our tone of voice. So they've got all of these elements here, which meant that actually from getting everyone in our business access to an AI that isn't learnt from, is safe, was actually it's pretty simple for somewhat more smarter, clever people than me. We also set up an AI steering committee. So these meet on a fortnightly basis, which is a group of people with multiple skill sets across the group. So we'll have people from tech and from marketing, but we'll have people from finance, from our contact center. So actually we can look at what are the risks, what are the opportunities, rather than if you just have the tech team that are in charge of AI, they're only going to think about the tech solutions, the tech risks. They're not going to think about actually what are the financial issues. So again, having that steering committee really helped to safeguard our data and make sure what we're doing is safe, and only the data we want to put out is out. The next problem we came about was what we call the ignorance problem, which is essentially, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do here. Again, how you bring people and how you sort of, some of that can just be getting them to use it, but actually showing examples of where we've used it in the work we're doing internally. So we run AI conference days. We would run for people that still felt like they didn't want to ask a question. They felt like it'd be stupid. There'd be ramifications if they came in after a year and said, I don't know what's an LLM, what's Gen AI. That actually we could just get people that were interested in AI, but actually not management, to run courses to essentially just go through no stupid questions, and it demystifies it and it gets them using it as well. We also, anything internally, everything has an AI in it. So it's this Friday Fix, which is a weekly article that we'll send around to the entire business, which essentially goes through what's new in AI, what are the big things, what have Google done, what have ChatGPT done, what have anyone else done, Meta or whoever, as well as what have we done internally. So it showcases what we are doing. People may read it, may not, but that information is there. Actually, it's, again, beginning that conversations. Similarly, chat functionality, so people can just to and fro in an easy way, where we just talk about it internally. One of the benefits of working with OpenAI, they actually did come down and ran a GPT hackathon in our office. So we got pretty much the entire business to sit and go through how to use GPTs that could improve what they do. Some were incredibly basic, some were unbelievably complex about linking APIs, and OpenAI themselves would fall down at that part because it wasn't ready. But actually, you start to see the value across the whole business as what AI could do and how it could help. This is a relatively new initiative we started to do as well, where we have 4 levels of prompting. And we're getting everyone in the business to do the first one, which is just how can you prompt? What should you put into a prompt to get an output that is useful to you? To the point where we're still designing what the 4th one will be, but it will be actually around the prompting as to how do you structure data when you're putting it and giving it additional context? How do you structure an API if you're feeding that in? So actually there's different levels that we will then accredit people through the business. So we make sure that everyone at least has one, that first level of accreditation. We internally, again, about that sort of communication, talking to people, we have a monthly internal TV program that goes around the business, and each team will create a monthly 20 to 30 minute video, which is a bit mad, but it's quite fun. We all get together and we make sure that AI is part of that. So when we're talking, it can be in a fun way, but actually, again, we know that people are watching it, they're learning a bit about business, they're also laughing at the stupid stuff our colleagues do, but there's a bit of AI in there as well. The last one, the day job problem. So essentially, I'm too busy. I can't learn about AI as well. I can't do it. So in some instances, we've actually just changed people's roles so that we've said, actually, you don't need to focus on that. You're just going to look into AI. So we have people in our business that now just focus on AI. We also, which I think is one of the things that's worked incredibly well, is we have people across all of our teams. So we've got around 38 teams in the business. We'll pick one person within there, or they'll nominate themselves, that they have an interest in AI. And so they want to be that person, that if there's something, they want to be the person that will be facilitating. That's we'll have one in finance, we'll have one in our commercial finance, in our contact center, et cetera, et cetera. We partner them with what we call an AI business partner. So they are people that probably 60% of their role is around AI, how we adapt to them, how we move it. And they will work with 3 or 4 different people. And they'll go there and say, right, what issues, how could AI help finance? And then that finance amplifier will then go back to their team and they'll work together. So actually start to disseminate the information across the business and across those teams with people that are actually passionate about it. And that's worked incredibly well for us. We've also looked at the AI Centre of Excellence. So this is, again, an internal accreditation. We have 5 streams across the business, and essentially it's linked to that prompting masterclass, how we start to get people excited, how we essentially reward them. And most people generally are quite competitive. So actually, if you can receive like an accreditation, an internal one, then that's really good as well. So to summarise what I've just mentioned, obviously a lot of it is around education, talking, demystifying it. And we've done a load of work, but actually when we started to look at and reevaluate what we've done, it was all internal. We'd save time, we'd improve processes, we'd give them time back to people. But actually, our CEO came to us and said, if ChatGPT 5, which is obviously meant to be 10, 100 times better than ChatGPT 4, if that was to roll out tomorrow, would any of our customers notice? Would there be a difference at all? And no, our internal processes might be a little bit quicker. It might save some of the team a little bit of time, but actually none of our customers would notice anything at all. So then we started to look at what we've called assistants. So within the OpenAI playground, which is where you can sort of access the API, they have what they call assistants, which are almost like GPTs. So you can go in and you can give it instructions and it will, and you give it data, but it's not locked within a ChatGPT interface like custom GPTs are. It's completely separate. So you can easily build something in a couple of minutes and then put it on your website and it can be talking and interfacing with customers. So a couple of the ones we've done, as I mentioned, one of the products we sell is travel insurance. Now, I'm sure it's not just me, anyone that's bought travel insurance and you want to see if you are covered for something, you have to get your policy documentation, you control F, you go through the 50 iterations of where that keyword is, you don't understand any of it, and it's awful. So we just uploaded some of our policy documentation in there, gave it an interface, the customer can ask a question, and it will come back and it will give an answer. If it doesn't know the answer, it says, I don't know the answer. It doesn't make up an answer. And if it doesn't know the answer, it will say, please call us, please contact us, and we'll answer that. And actually, it's been incredibly useful for customers because it's easy. And actually, again, that's where AI could be really useful, because no one wants to go through all of that documentation, but it can do it really simply, really quickly. Similarly, if people have problems, rather than us contacting our contact centre team for really simple things, because say I've got a booking, I can't find it. It will then direct you to where you can find it. So there's just these elements where it's very simple. It's a chat interface that looks at a directory of data and gives you an answer. So it's really useful for customers, and it's very, very simple to implement. We're looking at more complex things as well, where we, in our app, if we know that a customer is going to Tenerife, for example, we give them a personalised travel guide based on who they're travelling with. So a single person in their 25 going to Tenerife will get a different travel guide to a family of 4 going to Tenerife. We'll get a difference to a family of 5 going to Tenerife. We'll get a different. So actually the personalisation of that content, and again, we've trained the model based on here is what an amazing personalised travel guides look like. So we're just trying to get into that customer mindset of what do they want? How can we use this data to give a better experience to customers? So a question to you is, if ChatGPT 5 or the next unbelievable model was to roll out, would any of your customers actually notice? Thank you.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.